Welcome to the Arizona Wildcat Show, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, here with Daniel Burke. Daniel, let's talk UTSA. The Wildcats go to San Antonio Thursday night for their second game of the year. Both of these teams are in a perfect 1-1. Somebody's got to come out with the win on Thursday night. Tell me about UTSA and how have they gone from a startup program to a team that thumped Houston in their new stadium in their first ever game a week ago?
Yeah, I think that they've done it by getting those Texas two-stars, as we've talked about, the Trevin Wades of the world, and I think, Larry Coker has built this program and he's followed the blueprint of kind of success in college football. And, you always tell me if you're a program like UTSA or even a program like Arizona, you got to have your hook. You got to do something. And I think when Larry Coker walks into these guys' living room and recruits, and he's got his Miami National Championship ring on, and he can talk about all these guys that they know, Kellen Winslow, Andre Johnson, all these guys that he coached that are in the NFL, they perk up and they pay attention. So he's been able to get players, and then he's been able to develop players. And, we referenced Andy Lopez in our last video, and that's what he always talks about, recruiting and development. Larry Coker has done both. He's recruited guys and he's developed them, and now they have 483 combined starts on their roster. Whoa. They are probably, as Rich Ross said this week, next to BYU, maybe the oldest team in the country. And this is how you build a program. And then your freshmen and sophomores get to see how it's done, and then they play as juniors and seniors, and that's what's happening here. So I think for where they're at, they're in a good shape.
Well, and if we're talking about these second-tier Texas colleges, I mean, there's a bunch of them. I'm not sure he's stealing players from Texas, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, but he is certainly getting players above Houston, above Rice,
yeah,
above North Texas. I mean, it seems to me like he has built a nice little reputation and identity where he's able to pick off these two-star guys who would be going to any of these other Texas schools.
No question. I think that's probably the schools he's going head-to-head with, and then maybe once in a while you get a guy who had one offer from Texas Tech or something, and you convince him, oh, you can go to Tech, but if you come here, I mean, you're going to make a big impact. So, yeah, I mean, they've done it the right way, and there's tons of talent in the state of Texas. And I mean, they're now a school that makes it even harder for a school like Arizona to get into Texas. And I asked Rich Rod about that yesterday. And there are so many schools that recruit Texas. When they played in the Alamo Bowl in 2010, Arizona had 15 players on its roster from the state of Texas,
including like 5 or 6 starters.
They'll go there now Thursday, and they have 2. Caleb Jones, who's a Texas transfer, and Josh Kern, who came here as a quarterback and is now a tight end.
Right, was recruited by Mike Stu.
Right. So, so it's hard to get in there, and UTSA's made it harder.
Right. This is the Arizona Wildcat Show, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. Ryan Finley here with Daniel Burke. Daniel, I just want to see Anu Solomon do what he did last week, every week for 4 or 5 years. 4 years, I guess. There's probably no hope of that happening, is there?
Probably not, but there's 2 sides to this argument. One is he's not going to throw for 425 every week. The second part, though, is that he's going to start making some of the throws that he didn't make last week. And it wasn't just the 2 overthrows to Neal and the overthrow to Grant or Caleb Jones, whoever you want to say, because they were both wide open in the end zone. There was just, he had a couple of miscommunications with Austin Hill in the first half, and sometimes where it just didn't look like he was maybe on the same page. And I think that's what you expect in the first game. So you got to think that stuff gets worked out. At the same time, teams will now adapt to him. They'll see where his strengths are, what routes he can hit. And I think that, 425 and 4 touchdowns every week, no. But I think he's proven in one game at least that he's a Pac-12 quarterback and is a guy that should, if it works the way you think it's going to work, get better every week and every year.
What was the one thing that impressed you the most about Solomon on Friday?
It's what's impressed me this entire training camp, his understanding of the timing of the offense. And that's what B.J. Danker did so well last year. There's a reason that they do not turn the ball over, these quarterbacks, and it's because it's the whole 3-and-throw thing. And they know when to throw the ball, they know where to throw the ball, and if it's not there, he threw it away. And it's just his decision-making and the timing of the offense is what won him the job and what got him to 425 yards last week.
Well, I'm working on my own 3-and-throw. It is 3 minutes, and then I throw it to commercial. So we'll wrap up here. See, that's a good segue.
That's not bad.
I'm also working on my segues. For Daniel Burke, I'm Ryan Finley. This is the Arizona Wildcat Show, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. We'll see you next time.
Try this matchup. Low prices and faster checkout. You can count on it at Fry's.